Welcome everybody. We're back. This camera setting. There we go. Try to get in here. I'm doing laundry and everything today, so it's gonna be a little noisy, and I'm trying to get closer because my microphone didn't come in yet. So yeah, and some people were complaining about the noise, and I'm really sorry about that. Let's see. Hi, COVID. No, we don't have call-in on this show, but the group that I'm starting, well, everybody, you won't have to call in, but you all have to sign in to the group to, sorry, I'm trying to get situated here. But yeah, and that will start in October. So let's see. We are going to read 68 to 79, and that will go fairly fast. And it's basically an overview. And then after that, I'm going to go into angels, fallen angels, demons, and how to protect yourself, basically. And I really want to do like a full show on that, but this is just kind of to get you acquainted with it. Let's see. I got a new phone on yesterday, and I have just been rushing around because, cool. Yeah, it's not what most people think they are. I mean, we read about them here in Enoch, and basically that they're the disembodied spirits of these hybrid giants. So, not good, and they're very, very evil, and they're corrupt in all ways. Well, we've been going for about 2 minutes. Well, people can go back on it. All right, let's go. Chapter 68. And after that, my grandfather Enoch gave me the teaching of all the secrets in the book and the parables which had been given to him. And he put them together for me in the woods of the book of the parables. And on that day, Michael answered Raphael and said, the power of the Spirit transports and makes me to tremble because of the severity of the judgment of the secrets, the judgment of the angels who can endure the severe judgment which has been executed, and before which they melt away. They're gonna be blotted out of existence, basically. Hi, what is going on? Everybody's coming in now. It's awesome. Let's see. And Michael answered again and said to Raphael, who is he whose heart is not softened concerning it, and whose reins are not troubled by this word of judgment that has gone forth upon them because of those who have thus led them out? And it came to pass when he stood before the Lord of Spirits, Michael said thus to Raphael, I will not take their part under the eye of the Lord, for the Lord of Spirits has been angry with them because they do as if they were the Lord. That's like Satan's big thing. He wants to sit in Jesus' throne. He wants to take that part. Therefore, all that is hidden shall come upon them forever and ever. Where's my new phone? Hold on. No. I thought I turned this down. Anyway, sorry about that. For neither angel nor man shall have his portion in it, but alone they have received their judgment forever and ever. Chapter 69. And after this judgment they shall terrify and make them to tremble, because they have shown this to those who dwell on the earth, and behold the names of those angels. And we've already kind of gone over them before, and I think it was around chapter 14. And these are their names. The first of them is Samjaza, the second Ardaquifa, and the third Armin, the fourth Kokabel, the fifth Turiel, the sixth Runjal, the seventh Danjal, the eighth Netquel, the ninth Barkel, the 10th Azaziel, the 11th Armoros, the 12th Barchial, sorry about that, the 13th Buzasajal, the 14th Hananel, the 15th Turiel, and the 16th Sympaziel, the 17th Jetriel, the 18th Tumael, the 19th Turel, the 20th Rumiel, the 21st Azaziel. It looks like there's different types of angels. What I was thinking is their structure and their power. So maybe they fall under these names. And these are the chiefs of their angels and their names and their chief ones over hundreds and over 50s and over 10s. So that's the legions. The name of the first, Jequan, that is the one who led astray all the sons of God and brought them down to the earth and led them astray through the daughters of men. And the second was Asbiel. He imparted to the holy sons of God evil counsel, false religion, and led them astray so that they defiled their bodies with the daughters of men. And the third was named Gadriel. He is it who showed the children of men all the blows of death. Ew. And how he led astray Eve and showed the weapons of death to the sons of men. Gadriel. So he taught them how to kill each other, and he led Eve astray. Well, that was Satan. So maybe this is another name for Satan. Okay. The weapons of death to the sons, and showed the weapons of death to the sons of men, the shield and the coat of mail and the sword for battle, and all the weapons of death to the children of men. And from his hand they have proceeded against those who dwell on the earth from that day and forevermore. And the fourth was named Penumu. He taught the children of men the bitter and sweet, and he taught them all the secrets of their wisdom. And he instructed mankind in writing with ink and paper, and thereby many sinned from eternity to eternity and until this day. Maybe it was from if he just taught it now, I think it's just saying from generation to generation. For men were not created for such a purpose, to give confirmation to their good faith with pen and ink. That's interesting. Well, like I was saying, that before the Bible and the Old Testament was written, they looked at the stars and did it that way, and then like the nations caught hold, and then they created their own. Okay, for men were created exactly like the angels, to the intent that they should continue pure and righteous, and death, which destroyeth everything, could not have taken hold of them. But through this, their knowledge, they are perishing, and through this power. Interesting. It just makes me think how things will go back after the great white throne judgment, and how things are going to be set up. It's going to be set up like the first Earth Age, except there won't be another rebellion. Okay, it is consuming me. Okay, and through this power, it is consuming me. So he's really upset about it. And the fifth was named Kazdejah. This is he who showed the children of men all the wicked smitings of spirits and demons, and the smitings of the embryo in the womb, that it may pass away. So they're doing abortions and probably practicing witchcraft and all sorts of things. And the smitings of the soul, the bites of the serpent, and the smitings which befall through the noontide heat, the son of the serpent named Tabiet. And this is the task of Casbiel, the chief of the oath, which he showed to the holy ones when he dwelt high, above in glory, and its name is Bikwa. Bikah. This angel requested Michael to show him the hidden name, that he might enunciate it in the oath, so that those might quake before that name, an oath who revealed all that was in secret to the children of men. And this is the power of this oath, for it is powerful and strong. And he placed this oath at Ke in the hand of Michael. And these are the secrets of this oath, and they are strong through his oath. And the heaven was suspended before the world was created, and forever. So the different dimensions. And through it the earth was founded upon the water, and from the secret recesses of the mountains come beautiful waters, from the creation of the world and unto eternity. And through that oath the sea was created, and as its foundation he set for it the sand against the time of its anger, maybe judgment, and it dare not pass beyond it from the creation of the world into eternity. And through that oath are the depths made fast, and abide and stir, not from their place from eternity to eternity. So if we're a set time and place, and it was supposed to, secret things were supposed to stay in heaven. We weren't supposed to know any of that stuff. And through that oath, the sun and the moon complete their course and deviate not from their ordinance from eternity to eternity. So from the beginning to the end, because in the millennium and after, we're not going to need the sun. We're not going to need the moon. During the millennium, it's going to be like one long day. You only have like the morning, afternoon, evening. You won't have the night. And through that oath the stars complete their course, and he calls them by their names, and they answer him from eternity to eternity. And so that from the beginning to the end, from if they make it to the eternity. And in like manner the spirits of the water and of the winds and of all zephyrs in their paths, from all the quarters of the winds, and there are preserved the voices of the thunder and of the light of the lightnings, and there are preserved the chambers of the hail, and the chambers of the hoarfrost, and the chambers of the mist, and the chambers of the rain and dew. And all these believe and give thanks before the Lord as spirits, and glorify him with all their power, and their food is in every act of thanksgiving. They thank and glorify and extol the name of the Lord of spirits forever and ever. This is kind of weird, but when I was up in paradise, everything, praise God, including the little flowers that I was really interested in, these little blue baby flowers, the grass, praise God, the trees, everything. And then when I got back down here to earth and I got back into my body, I walked outside and I didn't want to walk on the grass because I could still see that. As time went, it faded, but I still think of that to this day. And this oath is mighty over them, and through it they are preserved, and their paths are preserved, and their course is not destroyed. And there was great joy amongst them, and they blessed and glorified and extolled, because the name of that Son of Man had been revealed unto them. And he sat on the throne of his glory, and the sum of judgment was given unto the Son of Man, and he caused the sinners to pass away and be destroyed from off the face of the earth. And those who have led the world astray, with chains shall they be bound, and in their assemblage, place of destruction, shall they be imprisoned. And all their works vanish from the face of the earth, and from henceforth there shall be nothing corruptible. So this is talking about during the great white throne judgment, everything, any evil, rudiment, anything will be destroyed. For the Son of Man has appeared, and he has seated himself on the throne of his glory, and all evil shall pass away before his face. And the word of that Son of Man shall go forth and be strong before the Lord of spirits. So right now we're in our testing. Got a little fly thing. We're tested. During the millennium is more testing, and then the great white throne judgment, and everything will be just destroyed. The earth will be remade, rejuvenated, and set back up, because right now we're kind of at a tilt. It will be set up straight. So everything will be put back to the original order. And here on earth is just a shadow of what is up in heaven, just a glimpse. But it's kind of that saying, as it is in heaven, as it is on earth. I mean, we're still tied to heaven because of our spiritual bodies. So, and these dimensions are very, very close, and they're moving even closer together as time goes on, and we get into Satan's tribulation. It's going to get closer together, and we will be like the time of Noah, except this time it's through deception and lies. Last time, it was the water, but this time it's deception. And it'll be Satan himself. He isn't going to use, like Nebuchadnezzar or any of these antichrists that have come through. This is his last time that he can build a kingdom to test people. That's the only reason why he's allowed. So, all right, book 3, astronomy, chapter 70 to 82. And we read, it seems to me like we read this, but for me, it all starts to blur together because the symbology and everything. But I'm going to continue reading it. Chapter 70. And it came to pass after this that his name during his lifetime was raised aloft to the Son of Man and to the Lord of spirits from amongst those who dwell on earth. And he was raised aloft on the chariots of the spirits, and his name vanished among them. And from that day I was no longer numbered amongst them. And he sent me between the two winds, between the north and the west, where the angels took the cords to measure for me that place for the elect and the righteous. And there I saw the first fathers and the righteous who from the beginning dwell in that place. So, yeah, chapter 71. And it came to pass after this that my spirit was translated, and it ascended into heaven. So he was taken up in a portal, basically. And I saw the holy sons of God. Now, because you're appointed to die once on earth, to be born, to live and die, we have three people that did it. We have Enoch, Moses, and Elijah. So we're going to have these people coming back down. I believe that Moses and Elijah are the ones who will be the two witnesses, and Enoch will be in that church system and be the martyr. But you'll see that in the churches when we start going over that on Monday. Okay, and I saw the holy sons of God. They were stepping on flames of fire. Their garments were white, and their raiment, and their faces shone like snow. And I saw two streams of fire, and the light of that fire shone like hyacinth. And I fell on my face before the Lord of spirits. And the angel Michael, one of the archangels, seized me by my right hand and lifted me up and led me forth into all the secrets. And he showed me all the secrets of righteousness. And he showed me all the secrets of the ends of heaven, and all the chambers of all the stars, and all the luminaries whence they proceeded before the face of the holy ones. The holy ones, the angels and the elders. And he translated my spirit into the heaven of heavens, and I saw there as it was a structural built of crystals, and between those crystals tongues of living fire. And my spirit saw the girdle which girt that house of fire. God is an all-consuming fire. And on its four sides were streams full of living water. And they girt that house, and round about were Sephron, Cherubic, and Ophanim, different types, angels that do different types of duties for the kingdom. And these are they who sleep not and guard the throne of his glory. And I saw angels who could not be counted, 1,000 thousands, and 10,000 times 10,000, encircling that house. And Michael and Raphael and Gabriel and Phanuel and the holy angels who are above the heavens go in and out of that house before the glory of God. And they came forth from that house, and Michael and Gabriel, Raphael, and Phanuel, and many holy angels without number. And with them the head of days, God, his head white and pure as wool, and his raiment indescribable. And I fell on my face, and my whole body became relaxed, and my spirit was transfigured, and I cried with a loud voice, with the spirit of power. Hello, Mr. Let's see who's in here. Azareth, hey girl. Mr. COVID. Elbim, I hope I'm saying your name right, but I see you in here all the time. If I said your name right, let me know. Okay. Okay, and I cried with a loud voice, with the spirit of power, and blessed and glorified and extolled. And these blessings which went forth out of my mouth were well pleasing before that head of days. And that head of days came with Michael and Gabriel, Raphael, Phanuel, thousands and 10,000s of angels without number. That's the last passage wherein the Son of Man was describing as accompanying the head of days. And Enoch asked one of the angels concerning the Son of Man as to who he was. And he, the angel, came to me and greeted me with his voice and said unto me, This is the Son of Man, who is born into righteousness, and righteousness abides over him, and the righteousness of the head of days forsakes him not. And he said unto me, He proclaims unto thee peace in the name of the world to come. So when he comes, that's going to be the true peace. Satan's going to try and bring peace in, but it's not going to be for long. For from hence has proceeded peace since the creation of the world, from the beginning of time. And so shall it be unto thee forever and forever and ever. And all shall walk in his ways, since righteousness never forsaketh him. For him will be their dwelling places, and with him their heritage. So the 7,000 very elect will be, they will be in the very inner court, and they're the only ones who can talk to Yeshua. Not even the 144,000. Dang. Sorry. Sorry, Sophie. Anyway, and I was saying this in last video, is your inheritance is like Christ. Everything that you see is yours. I keep getting these things popped up. It's kind of weird because on my phone, my new phone, they didn't set up the T-Mobile account. So everything went to my iPad. And I'm still having problems with that. Anyway, kind of confusing, but hopefully we'll get it worked out. And they shall not be separated from him forever and ever. So even, like into the eternity, you have earned your spot. Hi, following my Lord, Davy, Stacy. Good. Yeah, I had phone troubles yesterday and today, but thank God, finally got it taken care of. And so there shall be lengths of days with that Son of Man, and the righteous shall have peace in an upright way in the name of the Lord of spirits forever and ever. So those people coming out of the bad side during the millennium will not be able to talk to Yeshua. A lot of people say, oh, when I see him, I'm going to give him a big hug and stuff. Well, he won't be able to do that until eternity begins. And that's one of the rewards that the 7,000 do get. So it'll be really cool. Okay, chapter 72. The book of the courses of the luminaries of the heaven. The relations of each according to their classes, their dominion, and their seasons, according to their names and places of origin, and according to their months, which Uriel, the holy angel, who was with me, who is their guide, showed me. And he showed me all their laws exactly as they are, and how it is with regards to all the years of the world. So there's a set number. Hi, Deb. There's a set number of days that this world was already programmed to. Mm. Enoch and then Cohen. Yeah. Let's see. And they are, and how it is with regard to all the years of the world and unto eternity, till the new creation is accomplished, which dureth till eternity. So everything will be set back to the eternal world in the first earth age. And this is the first law of the luminaries. The luminary, the sun has its rising in the eastern portals of the heaven, and its setting in the western portals of the heaven. And I saw 6 portals in which the sun rises, and 6 portals in which the sun sets, and the moon rises and sets in these portals. And the leaders of the stars and those whom they lead, 6 in the east and 6 in the west, and all following each other in accurately corresponding order. Also many windows to the right and left of these portals. So I don't know if you've heard of the windows of heaven, but God looks down through those. He opens them up and looks down, and he can look down at you. He could be looking down at us right now. And first there goes forth the great luminary named the sun, and his circumference is like the circumference of the heaven. And he is quite filled with illuminating and heating fire. The chariot on which he ascends, the wind drives, and the sun goes down from the heaven and returns through the north in order to reach the east. And it is so guided that he comes to the appropriate, literally that portal, and shines in the face of the heaven, in which in this way he rises in the first month in the great portal, which is the 4th. Those 6 portals in the cast, and in that 4th portal from which the sun rises in the first month are 12 window openings, from which proceed a flame when they are opened in their season. When the sun rises in the heaven, he comes forth through that 4th portal 30 mornings in succession, and sets accurately in the 4th portal in the west of the heaven. And during this period, the day becomes daily longer and the nightly shorter to the 19th morning. So it's just talking about the months and the seasons and how they're set. On that day, the day is longer, and like summer, and then you have fall, everything, dies, and then you get winter, and the day is longer than the night by a 9th part, and the day amounts exactly to 10 parts, and the night to 8 parts. And the sun rises from the 4th portal and sets in the 4th, and returns to the 5th portal of the east 30 mornings, and rises from it and sets it in the 5th portal. And then the day becomes longer by 2 parts and amounts to 11 parts, and the night becomes shorter and amounts to 7 parts. And it returns to the east and enters into the 6th portal, and rises and sets in the 6th portal 1 and 30 mornings on account of its sign. On that day, the day becomes longer than the night, and the day becomes double the night, and the day becomes 12 parts, and the night is shortened and becomes 6 parts. And the sun amounts up to make the day shorter and the night longer. And the sun returns to the east and enters into the 6th portal, and rises from it and sets 30 mornings. And when 30 mornings are accomplished, the day decreases by exactly 1/4 and becomes 11 parts. So we have 12 months a year, going back down. are going forward, and in the night 7, and the sun goes forth from that 6th portal in the west and goes to the east and rises in the 5th portal for 30 mornings. Now, their months, their Christ, anytime that you see any kind of prophecy of God, it's always 30 days. And you see Satan's prophecies in moons or months. So he's got a shorter amount of time. Okay, and sets in the west again in the 5th western portal. On that day, the day decreases 2 parts and amounts to 10 parts, and the nights to 8 parts, and the sun goes forth from that 5th portal and sets in the 5th portal of the west and rises in the 4th portal for 1. And 30 mornings are a count on its sign, and sets in the west. On that day, the day is equalized with the night and becomes of equal length, and the night amounts to 9 parts and the day to 9 parts. And the sun rises from that portal and sets in the west and returns to the east and rises 30 mornings. See, everything is in solar, but and that is the Jewish, how the old calendar used to be. Yeah, I think you're right. He lived 365 days or years. That is amazing. I wonder, I mean, they must have been very, very stoic, to be able to live that long. But then Earth was a little bit different. You had the firmament around the earth, and everything was watered by the dew. You didn't have the clouds and things coming in, and you had more oxygen. Things just grew bigger and better. Okay. In the 3rd portal, and sets in the west in the 3rd portal. On that day, the night becomes longer than the day, and the night becomes longer than night. This is very tedious. And the day is shorter than till the 13th morning, and the night amounts exactly to 10 parts, and the day to 8 parts. And the sun rises from the 3rd portal and sets in the 3rd portal in the west and returns to the east, and for 30 mornings rises in the 2nd portal in the east, and in like manner sets in the 2nd portal in the west of heaven. And on that day, the night amounts to 11 parts, and the day to 7 parts. And the sun rises on that day from that 2nd portal and sets in the west. So everything basically has order. The 2nd portal and returns to the east into the 1st portal for 1 and 30 mornings, and sets in the 1st portal in the west of the heaven. And on that day, the night becomes longer and amounts to double of that day, and the night amounts exactly to 12 parts, and the day to 6. And the sun has therewith traversed the divisions of his orbit, and turns again on those divisions of his orbit, and enters that portal 30 mornings, and sets also in the west opposite to it. And on that night has the night decreased in length by 9th part. So it's just going through, how long is this? Oh, we're almost done. It's just like, and it goes here and it does that. It's just basically establishing, the sun, the moon, the stars. Okay. It has become 11 parts, and the day 7 parts, and the sun has returned and entered into the 2nd portal in the east, and returns on those his division of his orbit for 30 mornings, rising and setting. And on that day the night decreases in length, and the sun amounts to 10 parts, and the day to 8. And on that day the sun rises from the portal and sets in the west, and returns to the east, and rises in the third portal for 130 mornings, and sets in the west of the heaven. On that day the night decreases and amounts to 9 parts, and the day to 9 parts, and the night is equal to the day, and the year is exactly as to its day 364. And the length of the day and of the night, and shortness of the day and of the night arise through the course of the sun. These distinctions are made, they are separated. So it comes that its course becomes daily longer, and its course nightly shorter. And this is the law and the course of the sun, and his return, as often as he returns 60 times and rises, the great luminary, which is named the sun forever and ever. And that which thus rises in the great luminary, and it is so named according to its appearance, according as the Lord commanded. As he rises, so he sets and decreases not, and rests not, but runs day and night. And his light is sevenfold brighter than that of the moon. But as regards size, they are both equal size. Well, I was just thinking, I wonder how the sky would have looked during Noah's time. Like, could they see the sun, or did it just look like illumination coming in? And the water separating it, like maybe as a mirror or something. It is kind of weird. Okay. Okay, chapter 73. And after this law, I saw another law dealing with the smaller luminary, which is named the moon, and her circumference is like the circumference of heaven. And her chariot in which she rides is driven by the wind, and light is given to her in definite measure. So the sun illuminates on the moon, we know that, and its course driven by the wind. I don't know. And her rising and setting change every month, and her days are like the days of the sun. And when her light is uniform, is full moon, it amounts to the 7th part of the light of the sun. And thus she rises, and her first phase in the east comes forth on the 13th morning, and on that day she becomes visible, and constitutes for you the first phase of the moon on the 13th day, together with the sun in the portal where the sun rises. And the 1/2 of her goes forth by a 7th part, and her whole circumference is empty, without light, with the exception of 1/7 part of it. So the different phases, and the 4th part of her light. And when she receives 1/7 part of the light, a half of her light amounts to 1/7 part and half thereof. And she sets with the sun, and when the sun rises, the moon rises with him, and receives the half of 1 part of light. And in that night, in the beginning of her morning, in the commencement of the lunar day, the moon sets with the sun, and is invisible that night with the 14 parts, and half of them, and she rises on that day with exactly a 7th part, and comes forth and recedes from the rising of the sun, and in her remaining days she becomes bright in the remaining 13th part. Okay, chapter 74. And I saw another course, a law for her, and how according to that law she performs her monthly revolution. And all these Uriel, the holy angel, who is the leader of them all, showed to me and their positions. And I wrote down their positions as he showed them to me. And I wrote down their months as they were, and the appearance of their lights, till 15 days were accomplished. In the single seventh part, she accomplishes all her light in the east, and in the single seventh part, accomplishes all her darkness in the west. And in certain months she alters her settings, and in certain months she pursues. So yeah, the moon is always changing. Okay, certain months she pursues her own particular course. In 2 months the moon sets with the sun in those two middle portals, the third and fourth. She goes forth from 7 days and turns about and returns again through the portal where the sun rises, and accomplishes all her light, and she recedes from the sun, and in 8 days enters the sixth portal from which the sun goes forth. And when the sun goes forth from the fourth portal, she goes forth 7 days until she goes forth from the fifth, and turns back again in 7 days into the fourth portal, and accomplishes all her light, and she recedes and enters into the first portal in 8 days. And she returns again in 7 days into the fourth portal from which the sun goes forth. Thus I saw their position, how the moon rose and the sun set in those days. And if 5 years are added together, the sun has overplus of 30 days. And all the days which accrue to it for one of those years, and when they are full, amount to 364 days, and the overplus of the sun and of the stars amount to 6 days. In 5 years, in 5 years, 6 days, every year come to 30 days. And the 12 moons, and the moon falls behind the sun, and the stars to the number of 30 days. So that's how the calendar should be, every 30 days. But we're going by the Gregorian, the moon, the months. And the sun and the stars bring in all the years exactly, so that they do not advance or delay their position by a single day into eternity, but complete the years with perfect justice in 364 days. In 3 years there are 1,092 days, and in 5 years 1,820 days, so that in 8 years there are 2,912 days. For the moon alone, the days amount in 3 years to 1,062 days, and in 5 years she falls 50 days behind, to the sum of 1,770. There is five to be added, 1,062 days. See, we should all be going by the solar. So time itself, I mean, we should be, I'm not sure where we are in time, you know, really how many years have actually we're ahead. Who knows? I mean, I don't know if really anybody has looked into that and figured it out. In some artwork, the moon and sun are in the firmament. Government. Let's see. Yeah. Well, the sun is so far away, and the firmament is just the covering. I could see, I don't know how thick it was either. So would you even be able to see the moon up there, you know? I mean, maybe the moon was in it. I don't know. It is very interesting, though. Okay, and in 5 years there are 1,770 days, so that for the moon, the days 6 and 8 years amount to 21,832 days. For in 8 years she falls behind to the amount of 80 days. All the 17 days she falls behind in 8 years are 80, and the year is accurately completed in conformity with their world stations and the stations of the sun, which rise from the portals through which the sun rises and sets 30 days. It is very interesting, and I don't know why we said to the moon who changed that. Chapter 75. And the leaders of the heads of the thousands, who are placed over the whole creation and over all the stars, have also to do with 4 intercalary days, being inseparable from their office according to the reckoning of the year, and these render service on the 4 days which are not reckoned in the reckoning of the year, and owing to them men go wrong therein, for those luminaries truly render service on the world stations, one in the first portal, one in the third portal of heaven, one in the fourth portal, and one in the sixth portal, and the exactness of the year is accomplished through its separate 364 stations. For the signs and the times and the years and the days the angel Uriel showed to me, whom the Lord of glory hath set forever over all the luminaries of the heaven, in the heaven and in the world, that they shall rule on the face of the heaven and be seen on the earth, and be leaders for the day and the night, the sun, the moon, and the stars, and all the ministering creatures which make their revolution in the chariots of heaven. In like manner 12 doors Uriel showed me, open in the circumference of the sun's chariot in the heaven, through which rays of the sun break forth, and from them is warmth diffused over the earth when they are opened at their appointed season, and for the winds and the spirit of the dew when they are open, standing open in the heavens at the ends, as for the 12 portals in the heaven at the ends of the earth, out of which go forth the sun, moon, and stars, and all the works of heaven in the east and in the west. There are many windows open to the left and right of them, and one window at its appointed season produces warmth corresponding as these do to those doors from which the stars come forth according as he has commanded them, and wherein they are corresponding to their number. And I saw chariots in the heaven running in the world. Chariots of heaven. Well, we see Satan's chariots, these UFOs, but in Ezekiel we see God's throne, his when he comes down, his what he uses. And I saw chariots in the heaven running in the world above those portals in which revolve the stars that never set, and one is larger than all the rest, and it is that which makes its course through the entire world. Chapter 76. And at the end of the earth I saw 12 portals open to all the quarters of the heaven, from which the winds go forth and blow over the earth. 3 of them are open on the face, the east of the heavens, and 3 in the west, and 3 on the right, i.e. the south of the heaven, and 3 on the left, the north, and 3 first are those of the east, and 3 are of the north, and 3 after those on the left of the south, and 3 of the west. Through 4 of these come winds of blessings and prosperity. And from those 8 come hurtful winds, judgment. When they are sent, they bring destruction on all the earth, and on the water upon it, and on all who dwell thereon, and everything which is in the water and on the land. And the first wind from those portals called the east wind, comes forth through the first portal which is in the east, inclining towards the south. From it comes forth desolation, drought, and heat, and destruction. And through the second portal in the middle comes what is fitting, and from it there come rain and fruitfulness and prosperity and dew. And through the third portal, which lies toward the north, come cold and drought. And after these come forth the south winds through 3 portals. Through the first portal of them, inclining to the east, comes forth a hot wind. And through the middle portal next to it there comes forth fragrant smells and dew and rain and prosperity and health. And through the third portal eyeing to the west comes forth dew and rain, locust and desolation. And after these the north winds from the 7th portal in the east come dew and rain, locust and desolation. And from the middle portal come in a direct direction health and rain and dew and prosperity. And through the third portal in the west come cloud and hoarfrost and snow and rain and dew and locust, plagues. And after these 4 are the west winds. Through the first portal adjoining the north come forth dew and hoarfrost, cold and snow and frost. And from the middle portal come forth dew and rain and prosperity and blessing. And through the last portal, which adjoins the south, comes forth drought and desolation and burning and destruction. And the 12 portals of 4 quarters of heaven are therewith completed, and all their laws and all their plagues and all their benefactions have I shown thee, my son Methuselah. Now, the 4 winds are going to break loose when the last person is sealed. Okay, chapter 77. We're almost done. Feels like this is just going over everything. Okay. Let's see. And the first quarter is called the east because it is the first, and the second the south, because the Most High will descend there in quite a special sense will he who is blessed forever descend. And the west quarter is named the diminished, because there are all the luminaries of the heaven wane and go. And in the fourth quarter, named the north, is divided into 3 parts. The first of them is for the dwelling of men, and the second contains seas of water, and the abysses and forests and rivers, and the darkness and the clouds. And the third part contains the garden of righteousness. And I saw 7 high mountains, higher than all the mountains which are on the earth. And thence comes forth hoar frost, and days, seasons, and years pass away. I saw 7 rivers on the earth, larger than all the rivers. One of them coming from the west pours into waters of the great sea. And these 2 come from the north to the south, to the sea, and pour their waters into the Eurathian Sea, or Eurathian Sea, in the east. And the remaining 4 come forth on the side of the north to their own sea, 2 of them to the Eurathian Sea, and 2 into the great sea, and discharge themselves there, and some say into the desert. 7 great islands I saw in the sea, and in the mainland, 2 in the mainland and 5 in the Great Sea. I wonder if these are the continents that he's talking about. Chapter 78. And the names of the sun are following the first Orgeris, or Harris, and the second Thomas. And the moon has 4 names. The first name is Asaja, the second Ebla, the third Benez, and the fourth Ire. These are the 2 great luminaries. Their circumferences is like the circumferences of the heaven, and the size of the circumference of both is alike. In the circumference of the sun, there are 7 portions of light which are added to it more than to the moon, and in definite measures it is transferred till the 7th portion of the sun is exhausted. And they set and enter the portals of the west and make their revolution by the north and come forth through the eastern portals on the face of the heaven. And when the moon rises, 1/14th part appears in the heaven. The light becomes full in her. On the 14th day she accomplishes her light, and the 15th parts of light are transferred to her till the 15th day, when her light is accomplished according to the sign of the year, and she becomes 15 parts, and the moon grows by the addition of 14th parts. And in her waning, the moon decreases on the first day to 14 parts of her light, and on the second to 13th parts of her light, on the 3rd to the 12th, on the 4th to the 11th, on the 5th to the 10th, on the 6th to the 9th, on the 7th to the 8th, and on the 8th to 7, and on the 9th to 6, on the 10th to 5, and on the 11th to 4, on the 12th to 3, on the 13th to 2, and on the 14th to half of a 7th. And all her remaining light disappears wholly on the 15th. And in certain months, the month has 29 days, and once 28. So its cycle is 29, but it can have 28. And solar is 30, and 1 is 31. Let's see. Hi, Daniel. Yeah, you can go back and listen. Let's see. Ooh. How way back then could you? I don't know how you could figure it out. You have to go, because even the Bible itself, when they got these certain scribes in there, they miscalculated the reign of the king. So there was a big description of 100 years within the Bible. But that was figured out. The companion Bible tells you how it was figured out. But as far as figuring it out now, my goodness. That would be something if somebody would have to be really, really smart. Okay, 15 parts, and the moon grows by the addition of 14. And in, oh, wait a minute. Did I do this all? I think I did. Yeah. Yep, did it all. Okay. Okay, she becomes full. 29. I lost my part. She becomes full moon exactly on the day when the sun sets in the west, and from the east she rises at night, and the moon shines the whole night through till the sun rises over against her, and the moon is seen over against the sun on the side whence the light of the moon comes forth. There again she wanes till all the light vanishes, and all the days of the month are at end, and her circumference is empty and void, void of light. In 3 months here we go, in 3 months she makes of 30 days, and at her time she makes 3 months of 29 days each, in which she accomplishes her waning in the first period of time, and in the first portal for 177 days. And the time of her going out she appears for 3 months, 30 days each. Come on. And in the time of her going out she appears for 3 months, 30 days each, and for 3 months she appears of 29 each. At night she appears like a man for 20 days each time, and by day she appears like the heaven, and there is nothing else in her save her light. Okay, here is the last one, and it's very short. Then we'll get on with the fallen angels. And now, my son, I have shown thee everything, and the law of all the stars of the heaven is completed. And he showed me all the laws of these for every day, and for every season of bearing rule, and for every year, and for its going forth, and for the order prescribed to every month and every week, and the waning of the moon, which takes place in the 6th portal. For in this sixth portal her light is accomplished. And after that there is the beginning of the waning, and the waning which takes place in the 1st portal in its season, till 177 days are accomplished, reckoned according to weeks, 25 weeks and 2 days. She falls behind the sun, and the order of the stars exactly 5 days in the course of one period. And when this place which thou seest has been traversed, such is the picture and sketch of every luminary, which Uriel the archangel, who is their leader, showed me unto me. So God set up 7 days a week. This 6th day, or the 7th day, is for rest, and because that's when he rested. In Genesis, he did the 6th-day creation, mankind, the nations and the animals, and put them dominion over certain animals. Then he rested on the 7th day, and then on the 8th day he created Ethahadam, which is Adam and Eve, to begin to start the 12 tribes, in which the bloodline in which Christ would come through. So now we're going to go over let's see, the world of angels. Angels just basically means a messenger. And there are certain ranks of angels, as we have learned. There are ranks both on Satan's side and on God's side. Satan is one of those who was one of the cherubims, the covering angels, who went to the other side. He thought he was better. Pride took him over, and so he had been replaced. Angels are basically, well, they ain't the spiritual. We're all spirits. Right now, we just have a covering of this flesh so that we can live in this flesh and be tested. The angels, the spirits up in heaven, some are liable to die. Some have already been transfigured and they don't need to be tested, and so they have their eternal bodies. But it says on one of these things that I was reading that angels cannot die. Well, the fallen angels are going to die, that's for sure, and God has created everything. So he will be blotting them out at the great white throne judgment. Let's see, angels don't marry. No, angels don't marry. And this was a big thing that the fallen angels did do. They left their own inhabitation and left through one of these portals and came down, and they married. And instead of helping mankind, and you know, they corrupted mankind, and they created these hybrids, these giants, these Geber, who became tyrants. And so those angels are certainly going to die. Then you got the great white throne judgment, where those who didn't make it are going to die. And those left remaining are going to be going into the eternity. Let's see. Angels enjoy eating. Yeah, there's many times when angels have come down and ate with man, and they've offered them food. Yeshua himself ate with the apostles when he came back down. They do eat up in heaven. There's the manna, the angels' food. There's fruit. There's a leaf, which will be given to us as like for medicine and during the millennium and after. So let's see, mightier than man. Yeah, they're a spiritual being. They don't have the limitations that we do. We're, like I was saying, and when I first started this program today, what we're living in right now is just a shadow of what paradise is right now. Just a dark shadow, but it's like it in a weird way. I mean, but after we get out of this flesh body, then we become our spirit self. So the big thing about Satan is he will be in his spirit self, and of course a supernatural being able to do things, plus he's going to have the other fallen angels and evil spirits helping him. So it's going to look, if you don't understand it now, and in the sixth trump occurs, you're not going to be able to see that is going to be Satan himself. So no matter what you hear, it's going to be Satan himself. People say, well, it's going to be Obama or somebody else, a man. It isn't. Satan has only a short time, and he's going to try and get the job done himself and take a lot of people with him. Not as knowledgeable as God. Nope, angels aren't as knowledgeable. The Holy Spirit is what gives you your knowledge and wisdom and understanding. So whatever God has given to a certain person, and someone up above right now in paradise, there's always constant learning up there too. They're doing things up there. Okay. how many angels exist? Millions and millions and millions and millions. And in the eternity, millions and billions will be in there. Angels have feelings. Yeah, angels have feelings because look at you. You're one of them, except for just having a flesh covering over you. You are who you were up there. Down here, just dumbed down. God has feelings. He has a lot of emotions. He gets mad and he gets sad. He has patience. He has endurance. But, he gets to the point where, all hell is going to break loose. But yes, angels have feelings because they're up there. They're not down here. Many of the angels up there now are those who have already been down here who are up there and made it. So angels have their own language. I believe it's the cloven tongue, and this is the language in which the Holy Spirit speaks. So when you're delivered up and you are, to be a testimony and a vessel for the Holy Spirit, that's coming out as the cloven tongue, and everybody who hears it will understand. I mean, right down to their county where they lived and the sayings and, the dialect. Angels have their own names. Yes, we all have our own names. I don't know what my name was up there, but down here we're even named. Our parents name us, but we were named up there, and all the stars were named, and it is thought that for each star has one person to it. So you have a star out there that symbolizes you. Let's see, God's angels are not always in heaven. No, they're warring. There's spiritual warfare going on all the time. God has lifted the veil and let people see, these chariots and, fighting battles and allowing the enemy to see, to, run in fear, because we're very close to end dimensions. And dimensions, the more dimensions you're in, the more you can see. So when we're finally in eternity, all the dimensions will form into one. But all the dimensions in together to kind of intertwine. And I know that's kind of a hard subject. It took me a long time to understand that. But just in our dimension, but then we have the fourth dimension coming in. When these spiritual beings, it's what I mean, something happened in Noah's flood, the dimensions, something occurred. But these fallen angels were still able to come down. So, but I think there's just going to be more clarity. It'll just be tighter together. Let's see. Yeah, Enoch had to tell them, the angels, to stop. Yeah, it keeps going out. To stop their greed and praise the humans. Yeah, you're right, Mr. I love it. I love this book. It really goes into detail. And it's really not that hard to understand when you understand the symbology. Okay. let's see, Deb, do you think it's okay to ask your angel through Jesus to show themselves to you? To like reveal themselves. Well, I guess it would depend on why. For me, it's like it's a needed necessity. For someone else, and like you just want them to appear in front of you to like show you that they're there, or I don't think it really works like that. I think it's more like when you need them, they'll be there, and they'll show themselves. I've seen, yeah, I would, and it all goes about why you want to see them. But I know in my case, I've seen, a couple of them even while I've been here in this dimension. But I really needed it. I mean, like, it saved me from being murdered. And see, I haven't read Enoch yet. Do you feel I should read it prior to other books in the Bible? Hi, Jesus is real. Well, you need to really understand the Bible to understand Enoch. So I would study the Bible and then read it, just like with all the Apocrypha, because it's basically pulling all the information into, like, you should know this before you read it. See, angels can take different forms. Yeah. Lurch, my angel, I was telling you about this before, but when I was sitting with Yeshua in the garden, and he had 7 angels in front of him, and I was just looking at him, just marveling them, and Lurch was in there, and he changed from male to female, which threw me off. And I asked why, and he said, because that is what you needed to see at the time. You needed that influence. So angels come in different forms. I never saw him, well, I saw him in different costumes too. Like when he was leaving and I had to go back into my body, he changed into like what looked like a Roman soldier outfit with a spear and a shield and the outfit, and I was like, wow. And he's like, other people need me too, I gotta get going. And I'm like, ooh. And when I first saw him, he was in the white gown, long white gown, linen, with a gold rope tied around his waist and holding a lantern. And then, like standing in front of Yeshua, he changed to a female, but he never like changed forms. I think that there's different types of angels that can do it, because Satan can change forms. I think, yeah, I think there's a lot of books out there about this, but I don't really trust them yet. I really want to get into it though and see. Yeah. But your angel will look like an angel. It's not going to look like a monster or anything. It'll definitely be bright, and you'll be like, wait a minute. Ooh, there's a heavenly being in front of me. Okay, let's see. Okay, so there are, the different orders of the angels. There's the archangels, the seraphim, and the cherubim. But there's also, There's another apocryphal type of book, and I'm trying to remember. There was one time when I was like really, really studying this, and it it said what the ranks and what the angels, how they worked themselves up. So we started out all the same, and you were basically, it was dependent on how much you wanted to learn, how much you wanted to grow, as to where you ended up at, which makes a lot of sense. But the majority of the people are just, you know, within the tribes, and they're just, I don't want to say just normal, but these are the people that basically are ruled over. Um, like we're ruled over now by man, but Christ is our King. It's going to be a lot different, but even in the millennium, we're going to be the Zadok. And then you'll have the 144,000. These are all different rankings. You see what I mean? And how we got there was how we earned it. We worked it to get it. So, okay. The four living creatures, those are the Zoe, and those are the ones that, you know, like the lion that I told you about, that came into the entrance to the throne of God, and I was trying to tear that curtain. Why? I don't know. I wanted to see the strength of it. But anyway, he comes in, he had eyes all over his body and wings, and he spoke, and he said, have reverence, have reverence, have reverence. And I'm like, oh. And anyway, these just protect the throne. They're always around the throne, and they don't do anything else. They're made for that specific thing. Let's see. And it, like here, don't contact and worship angels. That's a bad thing. There's always, like, especially in Revelation, when John was like, oh my gosh, you know, the glory of this angel, and he like went down to like fall down on his knees, and he said, don't do that. I am one of you. Don't do it. So you don't want to like try to contact these angels. Like I said, it's more like if you need it, and it will come. So you don't have to be afraid of danger and things like that. If, like with me and my twin sister were about to be murdered, and from these boys, and he came and interceded, and then he told us this is what they did, so that we would have that knowledge, and that would go for any one of you. So especially now as we get to closer and closer to the end, and what angels look like, well, it all depends on what angel, because with knowledge you grow stature. If you're one of the spirits around, the seven spirits around God, then you're going to have your holy garments on, and which represent the righteous acts, and they're beautiful. Then you just have all different kinds of them, and it all depends on, you know, some have breastplates, some are warring angels who protect, and some, ones that protect you who are, you know, God's children. I mean, it just all depends. Like I was telling you about Lurch. Why do certain angels or beings want to deceive us? Is it because we are the actual children of God and they are jealous? Yeah, they want to deceive you. They're trying to like knock you off guard. What I would do if any angel tests the spirit, say, do you believe that Christ is the Son of God? And if they say yes, then that is. They can't, these demonic angels and stuff like that can't do that. Let's see. Can a person have more than one guardian angel? Yes. It depends on the circumstance. So say you had a problem and you needed a lot of counsel. You'll be in the middle and you'll have a band of angels around you, counseling you, leading and guiding and directing your path. So, yeah, you may need an army. You may just need a band, or you may just need one. It all depends on the circumstance. Even ones that claim to be good. Oh, well, Satan himself is going to say that he is Christ. So I can see what you mean. The angels that come to you that are good will be there for a purpose. They're not just there to say hi. They'll give you a message, something that you need to do, where to go, what to say. Sometimes you may only hear a voice. I've had that same thing happen to me too. You just hear the voice, boom, if you do this, you're in big trouble, type of thing. But these are all the things that I had already prearranged, like to keep me on track. What you did before you came down here, you may have made arrangements. Maybe your life wasn't as hard. Maybe you didn't need as much, but towards the end of it, you will have bands of angels. I mean, the face of God, meaning he's there to protect you. Let's see, I have just had very odd things happen to me before. Can a person, yeah. What happened, Daniel? Have you had like angelic beings come to you, or? Because it's not uncommon. It's just do you have like a third eye, like you can see spirits? Sorry, it came through again. Sorry about that. Ooh, are you guys back? Sorry, my phone is still screwed up. I hope I didn't lose you guys. So like this third eye, basically it's asked to have your spiritual eyes opened. You don't run around and see, spirits in general, but you can see them through people. They're discerning of these. And oh, that's weird. My phone is so weird. It's still doing that. Everything's going through my iPad. It shouldn't be doing that, and I don't know why. So I would just, your spiritual eyes, and you have to work at it. You have to be mindful of it. But as you grow in the Word, your spiritual eyes will become more open. That's why it's really important to study. Because as you get closer to God and understand Him and who He is and who you are and what your place here on earth is, He's going to give you more information and He's going to give you more gifts. So it's very important to just have knowledge. The more knowledge, the more you'll see, the more He'll give you. It is a weird thing, but just ask to have your spiritual eyes open, and it might be in different forms or shapes. You may see an angel. You may see an evil spirit. I've seen that before. Those you see more frequently, I think, but they're not around everywhere. But I don't know, guys. It's just, it is within you and what God gives you. So hopefully, yeah, just keep asking for your spiritual eyes. See, nope, I don't want to have a third eye. My sister does have it. Well, in that sense, it's kind of like the Eastern type of religion that has that and things like that. So I wouldn't call it that. I would just call it spiritual discernment and to have your spiritual eyes opened. Let's see. A lot of this stuff we've already gone over. Unrecognized angels. Now, in the Bible where it says to treat everybody kindly because you may inadvertently, be talking to an angel. It happened in the Old Testament. Things of the old biblical times are coming back. So, yeah. Some angels look like animals. Yeah, those are the four Zoe. Some angels look like horses. No. There are war horses up there, but they're their own. These are what the saints, those who have already died in Christ, are coming down riding on. Christ Himself will be riding on one. Let's see. Okay, let's go over a little bit of the world of demons. Lucifer and Satan. The difference between Lucifer and Satan is Lucifer was his name when he was the covering angel, and he became Satan, an evil entity. Let's see. I've seen images out of the corner of my eye, but I felt nothing threatening. It actually felt normal. Don't mean to sound strange, but it didn't seem at all threatening. Well, not all spirits are bad. Could have been your guardian angel, and maybe you needed to see that to know that you aren't alone. Because the dimension is very, very close. Very, very close, and they can slip in and out, no problem. Could have been, it could have been your guardian angel. So I don't know what, like I don't know, just like in your house or just other places. No, sometimes like at my dad's house, there were good angels and there were bad angels, and you could definitely tell the difference. There was this one angel, I guess it was more of an evil spirit that would always go past our bedroom, and we kept the door open for some reason before we like started closing it, but it was all white and illuminated. But I think that is kind of like what we were talking before about the, what do, like, the evil spirits, can they change to look like good spirits? And I think that was one of those evil spirits, not probably a really bad one, but it was evil that would go by. I mean, angels in themselves have a purpose. They're not going to be, going around and if your spiritual eyes are open, you may get a glimpse. God, and as you get your spiritual eyes more in tune, you will definitely start seeing weird stuff. And that's okay. You just know how to identify them. Let's see. So, do angels become demons? No. Angels have evil spirits, but the evil spirits that remain on earth are the hybrid, the disembodied spirits of the hybrids. The power of Satan and his demons. Satan is somewhat powerful. I mean, he was the covering angel. He earned that part. So he is powerful, but he can't hurt us. So no matter what he does, I mean, if you allow it, and his demons can't have no power over us. But they do over evil, wicked people. Have you seen or heard from Lurch in your adult life? Not yet, but I will. Like right before the celestial crossing, he's going to be coming to me and waking me up, going, it's time to leave. So, but I've seen other angels and I've heard other angels, those who were accompanying me during my near-death experience. So I know who they are, I just don't know their names. Let's see. My hallway in my house. I would clean it. I don't know if you know about the olive oil. Olive oil is the oil of our people. And I don't have a vial here. But what you want to do is get some pure olive oil and place a little bit in a vial and then just ask God to bless it. And then go around the house and you can dab it on the doors, on the windows, especially the front door area where people are going to be walking through, in and out, because evil spirits can piggyback in and come into your house. So when you cleanse your house by ordering all evil and negative out, order them all out, and then ask God to come in and just cleanse it and make sure that there's nothing there. And then you can go around your property. I've done that just because I got like some weird things over here. You can anoint yourself. Do that once. House cleaning. You can do it as often as you like. If you have like a lot of company coming over all the time, You know, you could do it once a month. Um, if you feel something evil in there or something just isn't right, I would do it. I mean, I've had some weird stuff in here, and once I found out how to do this, I literally heard this earth shattering scream, like something, some demonic thing was like very angry and mad, and it left. And I haven't had any of the problems as I had before in here with people fighting and just, you know, if something evil is in there because people will be fighting, and it'll have a just this dark kind of feeling. And the more that's in there and the more that people are just unhappy, the lack of peace, even if for yourself, if you're having problems and you think that something has tried to attach itself or is around you, anoint yourself and just ask for the Holy Spirit to come through, cleanse the area. I mean, once I did that around here, I do it about once every month just because it's a weird area. I'm in a weird neighborhood and it's not good. But just anytime you feel that, yeah, I can feel them on people. And you know what? I mean, we'll do like studies on this. I mean, there's many instances when Jesus himself had like cleansed people of demons and stuff. And you just have to command it out. But in the realm of demons, are there some that are more, yeah, just like just like in heaven is the same as hell. So you have higher ranking ones who are more powerful, Satan being the one, and then under him. So like the lower little entities and stuff like that, they're not as powerful. But the problem is they bring in others around them. And that's like if someone is demon possessed and you get that out of them, but they aren't filled back up with meat, with the word of God. I mean, I'm telling you, real meat. Um, then these demons are only going to come back and go, ha, it's all clean in here, and they'll bring in more. So that's very important. Okay, gosh, it's 3, it's almost been 2 hours. We really need to go more over this because as we get closer and closer, this ash that's going to be falling down, it's going to create a real heaviness, even more of an oppression, and that's a spirit. That's an evil type of dominion type of spirit. Let's see. But you can feel, once you get your spiritual eyes open, like you can see it on people. And that's how the apostles were able, and how Jesus was able to just command spirits out of people. So, and once you get to that point, they'll flee from you. They don't want to be around you because they're being sent back. And they like this area. They don't want to go to judgment. And that's like the thing with the pigs, where Jesus had like sent them into the pigs. He didn't want, they did not want to be sent back into judgment. So they said, no, let us go into the pigs. So they like to find animals and people and anything that they can latch on to. 1 Timothy, yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of stories about it, and you know, the only thing that we can do right now is prepare spiritually, and that's what we're doing now, and I think we're doing a pretty good job. Enoch really kind of pulls everything together for the very elect, pulls it all together. Let's see, First Timothy 2:12. Yep. And there's a lot of stories and a lot of examples of, you know, spiritual warfare and things like that, but I'm definitely going to have to do more of a study and get deeper into that, because it can be very deep, and I know that we've all had our own experiences. I mean, we're in an evil world. It's just going to get weirder. So anyway, guys, it's been almost 2 hours and I don't want to burn you guys out. Monday at 3 Pacific time, we are going over the first book of Revelation and into the second. The first is talking about all the symbiology, and the second is going into the churches. And I feel that is like one of the most important things you need to know, because we see a lot of different churches out there in religiosity. God is not a religion, it's a reality. But they're teaching religion and traditions of men. And so basically, the churches just goes over what will be going on in the end times, the different types of groups and what they'll be doing, and the two that will not fail, Smyrna and Philadelphia. And you want to be in that teaching. You want to be doing what they're doing. Monday at 3 Pacific Northwest time, yes. Hi, Zoe. I gotta make sure I said hi to everybody here. I do not have my glasses. Hold on. Oh, I just want to make sure. Let's see. Album, Zoe, Kimba Doodoo. Hi, Kimba Doodoo. You sound like you really know. Album Botello. Album Botello. Anyway, I am going to get your name right. Zoe Finderblast. I think I've seen you in before too. Daniel and Dave and Deb. Let's see. And COVID-19. I think COVID-19 left. But thanks, guys, for coming. Oh, and you're still here. I'm sorry. I can only go to a certain point, but yeah. Stacy, I am so glad you're here, and I really enjoy that you get to come here because we're friends. Dave and Dan, thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys, and just be prepared, because tomorrow we're going for the gusto. Let's see. I've been watching previous teachings, just haven't live. Yeah, I think I remember your you've commented sometimes, so that is really cool. But I am going in Daniel's been around for a long time. Kimbo Doo Doo. Read that First Timothy. I'll do that at the beginning tomorrow. My throat is getting really sore, and I want to be able to talk tomorrow. Let's see. Getting back to watch again. Had company come by. Yeah. Yeah, I get people popping by too. It's like, okay, if you're gonna pop by, these are the times that you can. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing a live show or something like that. It's verse 1. Okay, hold on. First Timothy, verse 1. Hold on, I'll get it. Oh, and if you want to know about the anointing, go to James chapter 5. And it talks about anointing with the oil over people. So hold on. I got to go back. First Timothy. Okay. There you are. First Timothy chapter 1. All right, I will read this. Okay, you ready? Oh, wait. Did I get this wrong? First Timothy 2:12. Okay. Chapter 2, 12. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Okay, so what is this supposed to mean? What are you saying this is supposed to mean? Are you a troll? Well, I don't know what to say about that, but I can tell you one thing I was told to teach. And in Joel, it talks about men, women, children, old. They're all going to be prophesying, and prophesying means teaching and allowing the Holy Spirit to speak through them. So whatever that means, and if you come in here and you're causing problems, then you won't be in here long, okay? So I just don't put up with it, okay? I don't. All right, guys, I'm going to talk to you guys later. I'll see you on Monday at 3 p.m.